Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Money Talks with Ayanna Smith, and I am your host, Ayanna Smith. And I tell you, it is National Make a Will Month for those people who have been asking and wondering and talking about what is all the buzz about wills and trusts and estate planning and getting all things together. Well, listen, I am not an attorney, but I am a licensed professional financial broker in the space of life insurance. And I can help you and try to guide you on some tips and some things to get our minds flowing, to get our mindsets flowing. And we're going to be right back with some of that. So get your notepad, grab your notepad and some pens and pencils, and let's get ready to write down a few things. We will be right back in just a second. Well, we are back, and this is National Make a Will Month. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ayanna Smith, and I am a financial professional licensed in the state of Virginia, but also have licenses to serve others across the U.S. in the lane of life insurance. My main goal is to help that professional woman, and that professional and businesswoman and or businesswoman to get her things together and in order. But of course, we can't forget the men. And I mean, by default, if you have a significant other in your life and you have children, then of course it's going to be. We're going to suit something for you, get something suitable for you. But I wanted to talk a little bit this evening. That normally, we have a guest. Well, hey, guess what? I'm the guest because we want to really talk about the National Make a Will Month because we have so many performers and people that we have known through the years. Just a very, if I could get some comments and some ones in the chat to really say, yeah, I know some people who had some discrepancies with their personal belongings when they passed away because there was not a will in place. I One of my good friends and agents, great longtime friend and agents in my agency, I said, listen, tell me what you were talking about. We always talk about, talk shop as well as personal. And I said, tell me that statement you were talking about and you shared. And the statement that I got from my great friend was trust is protection, will is direction. So of course we're talking about trust, that's trust and wills, but we're going to focus on the will since it is August. August is National Make a Will Month. We're going to focus on the wills. But I want to know, and please, if you're watching the replay or listening to the replay, if you have questions, please direct them to me because sometimes we can just answer some simple things and that will create solutions on the front end instead of being taxed with heartache and heartbreak on the back end. And what I mean by that is oftentimes we just don't plan. We just don't plan. We think, oh, everything is going to take care of itself. But here is the thing: we have different vantage points in looking at having a will because that will, what do we just say? The will is going to give direction. Yes, it's going to tell what direction things need to go in when we pass away. Absolutely. So many well known people right, without their affairs in order. And that means that you not only hurt your family, but you give too much money away or all of it away because it stays tied up. And so some of the steps, basically, you may hear these terms. As I say again, I am not an attorney or a lawyer, although I did think about going into to that field. Still, it's near and dear to my heart because the law is very necessary. And yes, trust is protection, will is direction. Yes, thank you, friend. Absolutely. For bringing that back out and coming in clutch to help me out and say, what is that saying again? That's my friend Artemis. So I appreciate you. Uh, with that being said, we're going to look at one of the bigger things. I know sometimes people have this ideal and they'll say, hey, I'm too young. Too young for what? Too People are going away from here every single day. So it's like we're not trying to plan for the end of our lives in early years, but it does happen. And so let's just look at this. You have to think about it in the whole encompassing estate planning, getting things in order. The will is one of those that we have to think about. The advanced directives that talks to the doctors and the healthcare professionals about what we want done in the event that we cannot speak for ourselves. Do we want to be resuscitated? Do we want to get blood transfusions? The things that of the do's and don'ts that we want to happen if we are incapacitated. That's one aspect. Then we're looking at like we say, the durable power of attorneys for physical management. Do we want to it depends, of course, sometimes on what do we have, what do we want handled. All the scenarios are based on personal experience, and they're based with they're handled by case basis that will help to keep the planning, I would say help to keep the chaos down because we've planned on the front end. So here's the thing. You may have children, you may not. But if you don't have children, you may say, well, shucks, what in the world? What do I need? You have a family. Most people, let's just say we have a family. We have sisters, brothers, mothers, cousins, or what have you. They need to know what to do with what we have. If we're working jobs, if we have businesses, do we want those businesses to continue? Who do we want those businesses are we set up to have them to carry on in the event of if we get sick or if we fully, pass away? So let's look at this. For example, if you had children, if you have minor children, the will is a tool that will allow you to nominate a guardian. Nominate a guardian of the person that you want to care for your child, to care for the estate. Speak for them, because you need someone, what we call, in the legal field, guardian ad litem, somebody to speak on the behalf of the child if the child's under 18. And in that case, you really do need that spelled out. How do you want it to look? Because oftentimes, like I said, in the event of life insurance beneficiaries, most of the time when I help families and individuals and they have minor children and I say, who do you want your beneficiaries to be? Of course, the parents may say, I want my child to be the beneficiary, but stop right there. The problem in that is most of the time companies will not issue money in lump sums and all of that to the children that are considered minors. So if you have a will, it does not I would say it doesn't trump the beneficiaries, because let me clear this up so we will be clear. The will does not tell the money of a beneficiary of a life insurance policy where to go. You have to set that up with people. People will get the benefits of that life insurance policy, or if you have it, you're so inclined to go into putting it in a trust or leaving it for a charity or your church, that's another thing. But just say you have minor children, you want to leave that in the place where the child can get it by having that guardian to be the beneficiary, and then you can transfer money and it works out through that will on how you want things to be allocated. So it's really it's not just as easy as you think, but it's easier than you think. I'll put it like that. It's all about getting it done and getting it started and getting it moving. And also, of course, this is great. If you think the bill up front is too much, wait till you get the bill for not doing it at all. Thank you. This is my co-guest right here. That's what I'm trying to say here. Think of it up front. It's really a mindset shift. It's really talking about these things. That's why I wanted, when I said, gosh, it's a good topic. August is Make a Will Month. we can get those things in place. And let me tell you, it's not that hard to get in place. We can sit down and talk for a complimentary consultation, because I have some products and services that can get you at least started and moving in the right direction. Even some life insurance companies offer those services in addition to, or as a plus, or as a great supplement, or what we say, a good perk toward getting a life insurance policy through certain companies. So it is not something that is inconceivable. It is something that we must conceive and that we must receive, so that we can do better about our business and do what we need to do. So getting back to looking at the importance of, if you have the minor children, here's the thing. Think about it like this. The individual who will have the care, the custody, and control of your child, that's and a guardian of the estate. Also, that person could help to manage the funds that the child may inherit, as I said before, and that they'll receive from you, and they'll receive as a result of death, such as the life insurance benefits. So that's, so I'm looking at, to give you a spot where it's good for you to go back and look at some of this information and have a place to go. I like to give you some value. You can go to a website. It's a blog, basically. It's a blog. It's called Trusts and Estates Law blog.com. So that's TRUSTSANDESTATES LAWBLOG.com. So you can talk, so it'll give you some things, a place you can go and look. Another thing here we can look at, if both parents were to pass away simultaneously, God forbid, which is the most common situation, just say in an automobile accident, and the children, live, then the loved ones, you think about it, loved ones are so grief stricken, they can't even figure anything out. They don't even know what to do with themselves, because I can only imagine, to put myself in that place, if something were to happen to my family members and their kids are left here, I would be screaming and hollering, number one. And so my good friend that's up here chiming in, Artemis, will have to come in and rescue me to get my mind together. But then here comes the reality. Is there a will? Are there life insurance policies? What's in place? What do the parents want? Are they hanging on? Is their health hanging on? Did they pass away instantly? All of those reality questions and life checks come up right then. That makes us say, wow, it's kind of too late to plan when we needed to have already had those things done. So here's another say, you can also establish a trust, absolutely, and make the trust the beneficiary, yes, on the policy, as we said, and provide direction in the will, right? Tell the people what you want done. We don't want to think about it, but hey, as I always say, we don't have to think about it, or we don't have to talk about things and it to make them not important. Meaning, as I say on this show often, money is always talking, even if we aren't talking about it. Our lives are always talking, even if we don't say anything about them. But there will be something said if we don't have things in place. So we have to get things in order, get things in place, and keep ourselves moving and running in a very succinct fashion, a very succinct manner. So some of the next things that we're going to look at, of course, we want to make sure that we have the ability to choose, and the will allow us to choose who our properties will go to. It makes us be able to speak from the afterlife, speak from the grave, and makes us be able to have some direction on where things are going to go and what things are going to do. So with your planning, thinking about that, August is again National Make a Will Month. We want to make sure that we get things in place because, as we said earlier, trust is protection, will is direction. We want to make sure that we are protected, yes, but we want to make sure that the things that we have amassed are directed properly. So the main things we want to direct properly when we are looking at these three documents, we want to have a will, and as I said earlier, recap, a will, an advanced health care directive, and a durable power of attorney for financial management. And these three things should be considered as smart planning tools. But the main thing we're looking at in this broadcast is the will, and making sure that we put that in place, because having a will gives one the ability to choose, and it also gives the one not only to choose, they will choose who will receive their assets upon their death. So if you have homes and cars and money and retirement accounts and all those things, it is so important to make sure that it's put in a will, because then that means that is those things are mandated to go in the direction they need to go. Sometimes we've had these I could say squabbles, quandaries, fights, even where people say, I know mama or auntie would want me to have this, that, or what have you. Well, if that's not agreed upon, and you have someone who is being the gatekeeper and acting up, as we sometimes know people can do, if it's written down, I want my teacups to go to my godchild, then that will be the way that it will go. But if it's not written, then it's sitting there as the estate, and it's sitting there as a big goo gob of stuff, all this stuff amassed together, and nobody knows is where it's supposed to go, because there was no direction, no directive left. That's the base word: direction, directives. They tell us what they're going to do. Advanced directives for medical tells us how we want our health handled. Direction is how that will is going to help us to navigate and put all those things in order. Also, we have another comment. Let's look and see. We say you can, okay, we did that. You can establish a trust and make the will the beneficiary. Yes, absolutely. We got that one. But here's another one. Some life insurance companies are now offering free estate planning. As I said earlier, please connect with me, www.askayanna.com, so you can make an appointment or direct someone who needs, just in general talking. If you hear someone saying, I hadn't thought too much about a will. Wow. Well, we can help you to get on the right track and direct you with the right, some, like you said, the right insurance companies are offering that as a free asset or perk to obtaining a policy. They also have the free estate planning, wills, and trust, that feature as a service to their clients. So what a great opportunity to not only get your coverage so that you can, I say, leave your family not in the time of leaving them alone. We don't have to leave them alone, ALOAN, because they're trying to put us in the ground, but making sure we have all of that taken care of. And then on top of it, to ice the cake, to put the cherry on top, we have a will, and then looking at that trust to make sure that everything is enclosed in one big capsule, so our family won't have to cry after we pass away and then not know what direction to go in. It is such a travesty for that to happen. It is such a travesty to walk around without coverages and life insurance, when it is so if you qualify, so much more economical than we think oftentimes. And then of course, the flip that I always share for those of you who would listen to me enough, we want to look at even how to position life insurance to be a builder of assets and help you in your retirement and all of that. But even in that, building all those assets and amassing all of your great, what we say, the great things that you want to acquire, we still need to have somewhere for people to know where it needs to go at the end. And the end is going to come physically, but we don't have to let our ending on earth be the last of us. So this is what I'm saying. When we have that will in place, when we have our life insurance in place, we're looking at our estate planning, excuse me, which includes our trust, then that allows us to live on and on and on, and know that we were prepared, and know that we cared about our family, children or not, husband, wife or not. We cared about leaving a legacy, and that is a puzzle piece that can never be erased. Now, as we kind of look to close up and all of that. Even as we're kind of recapping, remember we said, you're never too young to start out looking at getting a will. If you have things of your properties and cars, and you're amassing some funds, and you have a business owners, as I flip from the personal to the business owners most definitely need to have a will in place, because you need to tell people what to do with your business and how to run it. Here's the question: is your business going to continue on without you, or are you looking at when your eyes close, the business closes? Now, you can say, and then some people may say, hey, listen, it's my vision. That is it. Nobody can run it except for me. Okay, well, we know some big name brand places that we go to by the droves, and we stand in their lines, and a lot of them now have flipped to self checkout. I don't even have to call their names. About 3 or 4 popped in your head. 3 or 4 locations of the same place popped in your head. If that person had not had a plan in place, if a will had not been drawn up, if a trust had not been established, if the direction of their business had not been established, would that business still be going nationwide right now? The answer is no. So they had some foresight that their name would live on forever, and that people could be employed by them over and over and over and over. So their name will never dry up, because they planned. So that was business planning. They had their personal things in order, because most of the time, if you're a business owner, you have infused your personal into starting your business. So now this is money amassed and turned over and over and over. So do you not think that a will was not important? Because the businesses would not continue to be running to this day if business orders were not in place, if a will was not in place, if a trust and some type of estate plan wasn't in place. So it's something to think about. Make sure in businesses that even with that, you can couple this with your life insurance. When you're looking at business, looking at your business and putting a will in place, you make sure that you will leave. If it's survivorship is just this. We have 2 business partners. Give you a scenario. We have 2 business partners, and we get key man policies on each other. Then we can basically, if one passes away before the other, then you get the money from the other person, and you keep the business going forward. And yes, absolutely, you create that generational wealth. That's generational wealth. When I said you go into these businesses now, and you know that the originator, the original owner, is long gone, but the businesses are still going on live and well and moving strong, or either they have morphed into or blended into other companies, but nevertheless they're still going. So getting back to making sure you have that survivorship with your key man policies to keep your businesses going, and then have a will to even talk about the structure on how you want that business to divvy out money and funds, even to the family members of the other people that are, of the deceased family. And then what money is going to go back into the company to keep that company going. As I said, if you have vision and you know that your vision is longer, wider than you, then there has to be a plan put in place, such as a will, to tell what direction. Remember, we said trust is for protection, will is for direction. We want to make sure that we are coming up with the wheels and that insight of all of the legacy planning. This is all included in legacy planning. August is Make Your Will month, and I would love for you to, if you have any questions, shoot me a direct message. I will try to get the questions answered, or connect you to a person who can, if you need to get that all set up. You have some more in-depth things that you need to really cover, because as I say, it's not a one size fits all, it's a one size fits you. And the one size fits you are the people that I love working with and talking to and helping them to get to where they need to be. And I'm not a one trick pony. I have other people that we lock arms and talk about different things together, so we can get you to where you need to be, and as successfully as you need to get there. So please make sure that you do connect with me. And before we wrap up, we have let's say one more thing. To make sure as I'm thinking about this one scenario, how are you going to prove who you are? Well, sometimes people try to sneak in, that isn't that terrible? People may try to sneak in and act like there's somebody, but of course, make sure that everybody has their IDs and all that, and they are all accounted for, and nobody tries to just jump in at the last minute. And that was just trying to make it a little lighter on the heaviness or the gravity of the situation that we're talking about making wills, because nobody wants to talk about passing away. But you can live on forever if you have your things in order, and we won't be giving away millions of dollars once we built up like some of the big name actors and actresses, as we know, and singers and all that. Their stuff stays whacked up and rounded up in what we call intestate for years, and it is cheaper to put our things in place now than it is for people to try to figure stuff out and it stayed tied up with the state that you live in for years. Sometimes trying to untangle estates can take 2 years or more. I remember I had a friend that went through that. Their sibling did not have a will, and therefore it took about 2 years to get everything going. And I think the saving grace with that person, they had a family member who was an attorney who helped them to work through it. But if you don't have a close family member that's going to help you work through it, and they don't agree to say, I will help you without a retainer, then that is an accrual of money that would have been cheaper to the more economical and less heavy on the grief process to have done it at the beginning. So it really is not that much to get ourselves started. It's really more of us just getting over the fact of we thinking that we cannot do it when we can. It's mindset. It's a mindset shift to say, hey, let me inquire, let me check it out, and let me take action. So we need to inquire, check it out, and take action. Those are the 3 steps. Even if you didn't get anything else from what we're sharing tonight, take your steps. Inquire, take your steps to find out what's going on, and take action so we can get things in place. And know that the main 3 things that we need to have as we are wrapping up. Yes, it is Will Month. August is National Will Month, but we need to make sure in conjunction with our will, we need to have a will, an advanced directive, healthcare directive, and a durable power of attorney. We can talk about those things, get you in the right direction, help you to make those great connections and decisions. And we want to wish you well, because as we say, money is always talking, even if we aren't talking about it. And everything that we're talking about, wills and trust and all that, we cannot talk about them, but they are still going to talk to us. So let's make sure that we connect together so that we can get these things in place, and that we know how to move forward and keep moving and elevate ourselves. The main thing, we want to elevate and lift up higher and higher. So as we wrap up, please connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, personal page, business page, and make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I am streaming over to YouTube, Facebook, and YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We have LinkedIn audiences, which are always great to see and talk to and through. And of course, this is Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. I'm your host, Ayanna Smith, a financial professional, life insurance broker, help people make and save money. But we're going to break it down and helping that professional and businesswoman get herself to where she needs to be with personal and retirement strategies. But as we also want to add on and get our estate planning in order as well. Have a great evening. Like, comment, share, replay, please hashtag replay, and share this out with a friend.